Many of you know I've been a financial advisor for well over 20 years. But what you may not know is what one of the toughest parts of my job is. And that's when I'm dealing with somebody that's in their 70s or 80s and they have these deep, gut-wrenching regrets, things that they wish they had done that they did not do. And I don't want that to happen to you. For my clients in that situation, it's too late now. The bell has rung and we can't unring that bell. But it's not too late for you. And in fact, this is the biggest reason that I started this YouTube channel, is to share messages like this with you, to bring the wisdom that people have in their 70s and 80s and to pass it down to people in their 30s, their 40s, their 50s and 60s. You still have time. If you're in danger of having these regrets, your bell has not been rung. You can still unring that. You can prevent that. So let's jump in. The first regret is a lot of folks feel, I really wish I had retired earlier. You know, if you wait till you're in your 60s to start thinking about retiring, you're gonna miss out on a lot. You might look and find out, you know what, I could have retired in my 50s. But now that you're in your 60s, it's too late. And if you wait till you're 63 to start thinking about retiring at 64 or 65, you might end up working until you're 66 or 67 just because you didn't start sooner. So if you think that you might want to retire in your 50s, and you know, that's what this channel is all about. It's not right for everybody, but I want you to be thoughtful and deliberate about whether you should think about retiring in your 50s. It's not right for everybody, but I don't want you to just go through your 50s on autopilot. So top regret is they enjoyed retirement more than they thought they would. They did not miss their job the way they thought that they would. Frankly, their old company got by just fine after they retired. And looking back, they're like, why didn't I retire 5 years earlier? I found out all these things I like doing. The second biggest regret that people have, and you're gonna laugh at this, but people wish that they had spent more money in retirement. Let me ask you a question. If I had a magic wand and I could paint a picture for you of yourself at 70 years old, and you open up your bank account and you say, oh, well, how much money am I worth? Or you open up your financial plan. And I told you you're worth $3 million when you're 70. Does that make you happy or does that make you sad? For many, many of us, I think that should make us sad, because it's unlikely you're gonna spend $3 million for most people that are watching this video. It's easy to spend $3 million if you want, but that's not my audience. For many of us, I think if you opened up your statement and you had $3 million, that was lost opportunity. That was lost adventures. That was lost trips with your friends and family and just things that could have brought you joy. You worked hard, you put your life energy into something to create this money. In fact, there's a book, it's written by a gentleman by the name of Bill Perkins called Die with Zero, and he does a better job talking about this than I can. If you have $3 million, and I guarantee you, there are people watching this video right now, you might be in your 30s, your 40s, or your 50s, that are gonna have $3 million, are gonna have $5 million. And it's not because you're worth $4.5 million now. It's, you know, when we run these financial projections for retirement and we tell somebody they have a 97% likelihood of never running out of money, that's for people that get unlucky and they get bad market returns. But what about the people that get good market returns? And you know, there's a lot more of those than the people that are in the lower 3% that get unlucky, which is what a lot of retirement planning is based on, is what happens if you're in that lower 3%. You know what, having done this for 20 years, I'm much more interested in what happens if I'm in the upper half and what types of things could I do if I find myself there. Because, you know, we don't go through life with blinders on and we don't know what's gonna happen. We're looking at what's happening every year. And as we go through our retirement journey, we're gonna know, hey, you know what, I got pretty lucky. The stock market's been pretty good the last 3 or 4 years. Or you're gonna know, you know, unfortunately, the first 5 years of retirement, the market didn't do well. You can't control that. Don't beat up on yourself. But I don't want you to open up your bank account and say, look at all this money I could have spent. And now I can't do these trips. Now it's hard to do these trips. Or maybe you've had a health issue and your doctor said, you know, you probably really shouldn't travel out of the country. We need you close to a hospital that has a good heart center or a good cancer treatment center. So that's the number 2 regret, is they wish they had spent more. So here's a financial advisor telling you, I hope that you spend more. Keep an eye on your plan, do it wisely, but don't be afraid to spend. Don't die with millions of dollars of unspent money that could have given you joy and adventures and excitement and helped you build relationship and support causes that you care about. Okay, that was number 2. Number 3, people say, I wish I had been more adventurous, particularly Americans. Now, I'm a financial advisor in the United States, so I mostly talk to people in the United States professionally. But when I travel, and I'm fortunate, I've been to 50 different countries. I have not always been a well-traveled person, but I am now. And when I talk to people in other countries that are looking to retire, this is what I do for a living, so I do talk to them about how they think about retirement. And travel is something that a lot of us say we want to do in retirement, but particularly here in the US, for whatever reason, our news media makes us fearful of any countries that aren't Canada, Australia, the UK, Europe. Go to Vietnam. Oh, you don't want to go to Vietnam. South America. I spent 2 months during the pandemic in South America, in Ecuador, in Colombia, in Peru, in Argentina, in Uruguay, and all kinds of places that people would say, you don't want to go there. That's a dangerous place. You know what? I call bunk on that. You definitely can get yourself in trouble in a foreign country, but if you're not looking for trouble and you have a little bit of common sense, these places are nowhere near as dangerous as our news media would lead us to believe. It's not the purpose of my channel, but I do want to encourage you to be more adventurous, because there is a day coming where you're not going to be able to travel. You're not going to be able to do those things. When I was younger, I did a lot of hang gliding. I look at 20 and 30-year-old Azul, and I'm just amazed at the things that I did. And there's a window of opportunity. There's a phase of your life to do it. I have free time now that I could go hang gliding, but I'm glad I did that in my 20s and 30s, because the person I am now, I don't have that much of a desire to hang glide anymore. But you know what? I did a lot of it when I was younger, and I'm glad I did that. Same with other things, scuba diving, flying small airplanes, things like that. I want you to take full advantage of adventures that are in front of you. The next one, number 4, people wish that they had more balance the 10 years before they retired, that they had started thinking about what was life going to be like in retirement and started preparing for that ahead of time, so they didn't get thrown into that cold. So many of us are working hard, there's so many demands on us, and we're not taking the time to kindle our passions. And so people wish that 10 years before they had retired, they had started working on developing new hobbies and new passions and finding a new purpose for themselves outside of work, partly to get themselves pushed out the door and excited about leaving work so they don't stay at work too long and don't wait too long to retire, but then also so that they're prepared for retirement. So that's item 4. And the last one, this is a really important one. This is one we all can work on, and this is almost universal. People wish they had taken better care of their health. The reality is work is stressful. We have a lot of pressure on our shoulders, and sometimes we forget how much pressure is on our shoulders. But when we retire and we take that off, it's like, I can finally breathe again. People have wished that they had gone to the gym more and eaten a little more healthfully and invested in their health. This is the vessel, this is the vehicle that's going to take us into retirement. So let's do everything that we can to take care of it. And on that note, I want to go back to point number 4, which is balance and enjoying 10 years before. I want you to watch this video, which are 7 things that I want you to stop doing in your 50s and 60s in order to enjoy that phase of your life more. I'll see you in there. Thanks for watching this one. Bye-bye.